as we roll into December, the NFL playoff races are heating up. Teams are making their playoff push for the wild card spots that are up for grabs in both conferences. So here's a look at the AFC playoff picture. The division leaders, we have the Chiefs, Dolphins, Titans, and the Ravens. Wild card spots, Bills, Bengals, Jets, and then on the outside looking in, the Patriots, Chargers, and the Colts at 4, 7, and 1. Switching over to the NFC playoff picture, division leaders there, Eagles, Vikings, 49ers, and the Bucks are leaders of their division at 5 and 6. The entire NFC East in the playoffs there with the Cowboys, Giants, and the Commanders there at the 7 seed. And then in the hunt, we have the Seahawks, the Falcons, and the Lions. And let's welcome in our NFL insider and Super Bowl champ, Ryan Harris, to break down the NFL playoff picture. Ryan, started things off with the Eagles and the Vikings. They are the first teams that can punch their ticket to the playoffs this week, each needing a win to do so, of course. Ryan, do you think we're looking at 2 playoff teams come Sunday night?
I really do. The good thing, both teams are at home. The Eagles are facing a reeling Tennessee Titans. I like the Eagles in a close one there. And then the Minnesota Vikings at home are one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL. I called that game on Thanksgiving night. Incredible atmosphere, ear-shatteringly loud. They even have fake snow in Minnesota. On top of all of that, Kirk Cousins is a master with the cadence at home, and so that's going to play a big role in it. Jacqueline, I think we get 2 playoff teams come week 13.
All right, let's talk about the Seahawks. They're 6 and 5 on the outside looking in. Now, they still have the Rams twice, as well as the Chiefs and the Jets remaining on the schedule. So not the easiest there, Ryan. With that in mind, how difficult do you think Seattle's path to the playoffs is?
I think it's pretty easy. I mean, you mentioned the Rams. It's a depleted team. They're going to face them twice, and they get the chance to show the 49ers who's boss. Also, by the way, you have the 6th highest passer in the NFL in terms of yards when it comes to Geno Smith. The real question here is, can the Seahawks defense hold up? Now, they're 22nd in yards in the NFL and at times have given up big gains in the run game and huge passing yards, but they are tied for 6th in the NFL in turnovers and interceptions. So that's going to be huge because of their ability to create turnovers. Can they do it consistently? That's going to be the big question. But I like the pathway to the playoffs for the Seahawks. These guys are fun to watch, and that offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, one of the absolute best in the NFL, probably one of the next head coaching candidates as the carousel begins at the end of the year.
In Seattle, 1 game out of the division lead and a half game behind Washington for the number 7 seed. Of course, Ryan, we can't talk about the Seahawks and their improvements without talking about the other side of the Russell Wilson trade. We're going to talk about your Broncos. 2nd worst record in the AFC. The offense is just, terrible to say the least. Russ has been sacked 35 times, the 2nd most in the NFL. They're definitely out of the playoff picture, so you got to talk about moving forward. What's next? Ryan, how do you fix this team?
Well, first, I think you let Russell Wilson get surgery on his torn labrum in his throwing shoulder. It's really insane. He's been playing with that already this season, really since week 2 or 3, I think it was. So he should be commended for his courage, but also take him out, get that shoulder surgery, get it done so you're ready for next year. And these guys have over $50 million on the IR, including their star left tackle, Garrett Bowles. A miserable season for the Broncos. Their pass rush has disappeared with the departure of Bradley Chubb. Now, eventually they might get Randy Gregory back, but do you rush that veteran with a big contract back when you know you're losing? So that's a big issue. So the Broncos are reeling, and I think it begins getting better by having Russell Wilson get shoulder surgery to begin next season.
And Ryan, I want to talk about Nathaniel Hackett. How much pressure is there, or I guess maybe blame, for the head coach? Do you think he stays next year, and how much pressure is he facing?
Well, it's difficult because with a new ownership group, they absolutely want the right coach, in for the team. And there's been mixed results with Nathaniel Hackett. A lot of the back chatter has been the injuries have played a large part of it, but is that enough to have Hackett keep his job? I mean, Hackett's so frustrated at the podium, he can barely complete his sentences about what's going wrong and what the problem is. The biggest issue is just finishing drives. They had a 50-yard rush last week, and on the very next play, had a strip sack for a fumble. So this team is just a couple of plays away each and every game. The offensive line's been a big struggle. I think it's 50-50 right now whether Nathaniel Hackett remains the head coach a lot of owners are having this conversation now about how much does consistency play a role in things moving forward. Is it better to have a consistent offense and defensive scheme going into next year to give you a better chance? Or is it better to get a new head coach? And what are those options? What does it look like? So those are the conversations the front office is having. And I'm not sure there will be a high caliber coach that will make the organization under new leadership say, we need to get rid of Nathaniel Hackett. This coach is a slam dunk and a way better plan moving forward.
Ryan, let's talk about the AFC North. We got the Ravens and the Bengals. They are tied atop of the division, but of course Baltimore holds that head-to-head tiebreaker. Ryan, both of those teams inside the playoff picture at 7-4. Who do you think is going to take the crown come the end of the season?
Well, I think the Ravens will take the division crown in their remaining 6 games. I believe it's only one team that has a winning record. And they've been struggling, even though they've been struggling to finish. That's the big concern with the Ravens, struggling to finish on offense, 2 turnovers. But the Cincinnati Bengals are the dangerous team here. I mean, a huge win in Tennessee last week. They got a 3-game win streak, and they have a chance to shake up the entire AFC as they host the Chiefs this weekend. I love the Bengals. I think these guys are going to be in the AFC Championship, if not winning the divisional, if not into the divisional round for sure, even as a wild card team, if that's the way it goes. But the Bengals are the more dangerous team to me than the Ravens in the AFC North.
Yeah, the Chiefs and the Bengals have represented the AFC in the Super Bowl in each of the last 3 seasons. Now, Ryan, if the season ended today, the Jets are a playoff team as the 7 seed. Now with Mike White at center, I see you doing a little cheer over there. How good of a shot does New York have at making the playoffs with Mike White instead of Zach Wilson?
It's 100%. I mean, Mike White had such a great game last week, 3 tutties, over 300 yards passing, no interceptions. They changed his name to Mike Money. Mike Money brought hope to the Jets, who were fantastic outside of that quarterback position. And after a game like that, look, the road is rough. Let's be clear. But the Jets have an absolute pathway, and they have the key thing for a team that's going from worst to a chance at the playoffs. They have hope and belief. I know that sounds to a lot of people like it doesn't matter, and I can tell you from play in and play out, there's a difference when you know you have a chance to win, to go to the playoffs and get there. That belief, that's so necessary for the Jets to take that first step to becoming a perennial playoff team once again.
And Ryan, we heard Robert Saleh saying in a press conference a little bit earlier, you know, Zach Wilson's career, it's not over here. But with Mike White's performance, you think they stick with him through the end of the season?
Absolutely. Look, Zach Wilson has a tremendous arm, tremendous talent, and what's been getting him is maybe being a little too confident in that arm and just being unaware in situations, including going out of the pocket through the back of the pocket, which is a big no-no. And Mike White, Mike Money, has shown he can get it done. And when you have a team that's winning like that, that has the belief, you don't take away that quarterback, I think they stay with Mike White the rest of the year.
All right, that is our Super Bowl champ, Ryan Harris, joining us here on CBS Sports HQ to break down the NFL playoff picture. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Always.
All right, and looking at the odds to make the playoffs from our friends over at Caesars Sportsbook. These are actually teams with near even odds to make the playoffs. You got the Jets there at -120, Chargers -150, Commanders -160, and then you got the Giants as well.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.